Yeah, I'm Shawn Frison, Senior Designer at Jaeger Development on Spec Ops The Line.
Right, well, the game has been announced a while ago in December of 2009. We're in 2012 now. Why the long wait? Did you reboot it in the middle of development, or what did you do in the past 3 years?
No, honestly, it was just a matter of we wanted to reach a certain quality bar, and so we've just been working on balancing and polishing, and we've done some script revisions and that kind of thing. But we've had a pretty clear vision the whole time, and just been taking our time to get there.
Well, Spec Ops, it's a modern military shooter. We get the kind of feeling, over the past few years, this has been kind of the trend in the industry to do that kind of shooters. What would you say are really the main parts in which Spec Ops is different from those other games?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is that we have a really different emotional tone. So, instead of it sort of being like the kind of classic, American soldiers go in and save the day, rah, 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 it's something where we wanted to, we took a look at like a lot of war movies and war books, and they explore kind of the dark side of things more. And we wanted to really show what it's like to have to go through these terrible decisions and terrible situations, and have to make these decisions where it's not between good and bad, it's between bad and also terrible, and it's just a matter of which one you can live with yourself.
Right, well, another thing that's unique in the game is the setting. We don't get a lot of desert settings. You placed in Dubai, and there are major sandstorms there. How does that impact the gameplay in Spec Ops?
Yeah, so the sand gameplay is actually a pretty big part of the game. In the Dubai setting, what we really wanted to do was showcase kind of the architecture of the city. But then when we brought in the sandstorms, so there's a lot of different things you can do with this. First off, you have your sand avalanches where you can bury guys under tons of sand and kill your enemies that way. And then you might also see some sand trickling from the ceiling, and you can shoot that to stun guys. Or even just, if you throw a grenade next to a guy in the sand, it's going to behave a little differently than it normally does. So instead of, just being able to kill people, which you can still do, of course, it'll also kick up a huge cloud of sand that will, completely mess up your visibility, but will also stun enemies, and they'll be bent over coughing, so you can get close and, take them out that way.
In the game, you go into Dubai with a team, so it makes it kind of a tactical shooter. How does that impact the gameplay? Can you give your teammates orders, and in what kind of role does that play in the game?
So yeah, what we wanted to do was to have a game where basically players can choose which kind of style they want to play with. So we have a squad that, they're smart guys, they're Delta Force operators, they know what they're doing. So if you want to, you can kind of let them do their own thing, and they'll be pretty intelligent, and they'll take care of business. But at the same time, if you want to play more tactically, you have some squad options there. So you can either give them attack commands, and then they'll react intelligently based on the situation. So for instance, you have a sniper on your squad, and if you give an attack command on like a long range target, then he'll take out a sniper rifle and do a one-shot kill on him. Or if there's someone behind a more fortified position, then Adams, who's your demolitions expert, will maybe throw in an explosive there to take him out. And then in addition to that, we have some contextual options that will pop up depending on what the situation is. So we wanted to keep it nice and simple and nice and accessible, and then just kind of support different styles of play.
Well, you have these 3 guys in place for that, but you didn't choose to implement the co-op option. Why did you make that decision?
It really just came down to wanting to tell a certain story, and there was just things that we would have had to sacrifice if we had had co-op, and it was important to us to keep the story intact.
And are there other kinds of multiplayer options in the game?
Yeah, we do have a competitive multiplayer in the game, but we're just not quite ready to talk about it yet.
All right, let's focus on the single player. Can you give us... you guys are coming into Dubai because there's some major shit going down there, just to put it bluntly. And the Americans are already there, so you're kind of like a second team going in. What happened over there? Can you shed more light on the storyline of the game?
Yeah, so what's... I don't want to give away too much, but... when you first go into the city, you don't actually know that there's already been another team that's been sent in. And as you get there, you start realizing that this other team has been causing some issues that you'll be getting involved in, and some conflicts between some of the different factions in Dubai. And you'll see a little bit of their story being woven in with the story of your team as you go through the game.
How much freedom do you get in the storyline of the game? Can you, for instance, decide to save some civilians or don't save them and just let the others kill them? How much freedom is there?
I mean, it really depends on the situation, of course, but we have several different decision scenes throughout the game. And for instance, in the one that you played through, you have the option to either go for gold or to try to save the civilians. And your decisions aren't always going to have exactly the outcome that you expected. And that's another thing that we try to push through the game, is that, you may go in with the best intentions, but sometimes things go a little bit wrong. But yeah, where possible, we try to give you the freedom to do what you need to do. And
does that impact the storyline of the game or the ending, or is it just for those situations?
I hate to say it, but I can't actually talk about what goes on with the ending or how it impacts things. But just to go over again the situation that you played through in the demo, like for instance, you could either, if you go for gold, then you end up in this. I believe I watched you play through that giant combat, and it's a very difficult combat. You can actually avoid that combat completely if you take the other option, and then you have some stealth gameplay section where you kind of have to sneak around and get around the whole battle. And then the way your squad reacts to which option you chose changes a bit. So depending on the situation, it can definitely have some impact.
Right, it sounds really interesting. Do we already have a release date set? We know spring 2012. Is there a release date known already?
That's as good as we can give you for now. We don't have a specific date pinned down, but spring's right around the corner. So.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
I should have died long ago. The storm's too strong! I thought my duty was to protect this city from the storm. I was wrong. I have to protect it from you.